Okay, since I'm live, we'll let a few minutes pass so that notifications will go out and people come in. In the meantime, I'll just start getting my palette ready. Shouldn't be too long. If you're watching on YouTube, just scrub forward until you see something start happening. Yeah. Guess we use this brush to start. Moving the artwork might be a really, really good idea. Yep. Hey, Dorothy. First in, getting a front row seat. Hi, Gail. You love Robert? Well, I can't say that I blame you. He is a pretty good egg. Hi, Gina. Amy loves you, Robert.
You what?
Amy loves you.
Who does?
Amy.
Amy?
Amy loves you.
Tell her I love her too.
Well, she just heard you.
Okay.
Hi, Sharon. I did get your address, Sharon, and it's packaged, ready to go. I just need to get my rotten butt to the post office. But I'm doing another project that I want to get out at the same time, and it took a couple days. So, yeah, I was a little bit slower. I wanted to get it out by Friday. But, hi, Tracy. Hi, Eileen. Hi, Dabbler. This whole area was lunatic over the weekend. I mean, so yeah, just hold tight, Sharon. It is on its way. I did finish it. Do you want to see it? Because I haven't closed the envelope yet. I'll show it since I did get it all done. Just got to take it out of its little envelope. I never seal anything until I'm just ready to go. So anyway, this is what I finished last week, and I finished it after the stream was over, so I don't remember what parts of it you guys saw or didn't see, but that's what it ended up looking like. I like it. I think it's balanced real good. There's just certain elements about it that I really, really like. Two things. I like this pattern and I like this pattern. I like this pattern a lot. This pattern was a pain in the ass. I don't mind saying that. Look at that. If the camera will focus. Yeah, that was a pain in the ass. On the top right, this one up here, yeah, I like that a lot. And then when I got down here and did these tubes down here, I like this. So yeah, certain things about it that I ended up just loving a lot. Hi, G Brody. So yeah, it's the bows. Yeah, this one, that is so much easier than you think. What is it? Oh, I didn't make a list of what patterns I used, Gina. I'll have to look it up. Yeah, I'll have to look it up. Do I want to say bow ties? Let me see. The book's right here. I can pull it down real quick and look. But that is actually one of my favorite patterns. And it looks really good small, too. Like, this is probably as big as I've ever drawn that particular pattern. But it looks really good small, too. Oh, okay. The rulers first. Oh, my God. I can't believe you guys are fighting over rulers when I'm not there. Ugh. Is Patty even here? Oh, you mean so if she wants to look at the recording. I'm looking up this design real quick. It's not where I thought it was. I'll look that up. And Gina, I don't know where you follow me. So, but I will, if nothing else, I'll have it ready for next week. Okay. And apparently at Patty's, and I can't believe I wasn't there so I could get involved in the argument over rulers. Gina, you won't regret it. Okay, so you just follow me here. Okay, by next week, I will have that pattern name for you so you can look it up. But anyway, they were talking, I guess. I wasn't there, so I don't know. I just have to go by what Eileen says. They were arguing about rulers and rulers that have corks on the back, right, Eileen? And the reason that you would put cork, I mean, and this is not a thick layer. I mean, it's a 1/16 of an inch or less. But what it's for is so when you're using ink or anything and ruling a line, that your ink doesn't crawl underneath the ruler. That's why they put the cork there. And yeah, I can't imagine why you would argue about that. It's something, somebody said the ruler with the cork is no good and it can't rip small pieces off a paper. Well, that, okay, whoever said that, I'm probably going to offend you right now. Because yeah, that little bit of extra, here, I just got this here. So you're wanting to do it like this and try and tear like that? Well, if that little bit of extra cork makes a difference, turn it upside down, for God's sake. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. Right? What they said was, Janet, yeah, I mean, if I'm going to tear it like that and I want a real crisp tear, and you're never going to get a crisp tear, what I'll do is, if I'm generally, when I'm using this to tear or cut, I do turn it over, because if I have it up like this, my knife has a chance to get at an angle and not cut right. So I turn it over like this, and then my knife can't get underneath. I'm going to get the cut right where I want it, right? Rip a very thin piece off. Like that. Well, I would never rip that, first of all, because I own a freaking X-Acto knife. But if you pull against the ruler, you can get it, but you would use an X-Acto knife for that, right? And I don't have a cutting board right now because my watercolors, well, I could turn it upside down. But yeah, see, if you have it up like this, but primarily that cork is to keep ink from crawling underneath. And I do that on tons of stuff. See this little template? I went ahead and put just a layer of masking tape on the back side just to lift it up off the paper enough that my ink won't spread underneath it. I need this camera a little bit closer to me, obviously. Yeah, and I do that on a lot of my stuff. Like on my eraser shields. I have masking tape on the back of them too, for that very reason. She wanted to rip the edges off. Well, it's going to be hard to get a small little edge. I mean, just to be honest, it really is. If you're going to do a small amount, you use an X-Acto, or use a pair of deckled scissors or something like that. You don't have to go around being stupid your whole life, unless you want to, of course. Yeah, see, all mine have masking tape on them, which I do have to change out periodically because it gets dirty. And then if I put it down on my paper, I transfer the dirt. So, yeah. Y'all have dumb arguments. Know what I mean? Some said to use them at, well, Patty used a pair of scissors. Yeah, that's what I would do too. Or I would use an X-Acto. I hardly ever use scissors. If I want a straight line, if I want something straight, the only way you're going to get it straight is to use an X-Acto. That's just the truth. And if you want a straight line, use a ruler with a cork on the back. So hopefully we got that solved. And not all rulers have the cork on the back. There's things about rulers. Rulers are awesome things, but I don't like this ruler. I use it all the time, but I don't ever measure from this end. I always move up to the 1 inch because it's just not accurate. So, yeah. All right, well, now we've got that taken care of. And then the only other thing I had to show before I start watercoloring was that crazy Kenny sent me the Catherine Anderson seashell book, collage seashell book. And there are some beautiful images in here. So I guess I'm going to have to try a collage. The whole idea and mess of a collage kind of freaks me out. They were saying, well, another thing about the cork, like I was saying, the masking tape gets dirty. This cork does get dirty. And that's another thing. If you're not careful, you'll make a mess. So now you can go take a nap, Eileen, and get ungrumpy, for God's sakes. That's all I got to say. You were a damn grump this morning. But anyway, I'll flip through this. Dee Dee has shown it. Catherine Anderson makes books, and I'll pull this out a little bit. So that you can use her images in your collage, which is really awesome. If you're going to use somebody's image, generally you would have to get permission, but she puts these out there for that personal reason. She said to cut it out and use in your personal art. The one book she has out that I've been tempted so many times to buy is the door book. Now the door book I really like. Really, really like. And I like this one. Like, look at these images. Is that not gorgeous? And I kind of envy her the ability to create these amazing photographs. Like, look at that, the edge of the sea. And then another nice thing she does is she prints the same image front and back. This is a beautiful book. I will have to say that. Look at that. Like, that is just gorgeous. And there's a nice sunset or sunrise. Hell, I don't know. So she's got some beautiful images in here. Footsteps in the sand. That reminds me of the poem about two sets of footsteps along the beach. And then one of them disappears. And that's when God said, well, that's when I was carrying you. She has several door books. Okay, well, I've seen the one Dee Dee has. Yeah, I know, Eileen. I'm going to have to go over there and check out Colleen's video. Karlyn, I think Karlyn was the one who originally found these books. I can't say that with certainty, but that's the first place I saw anybody promoting them at all was Karlyn, which is the scrap chick. I think it's on Amazon, Brenda. Hi, by the way. But anyway, Karlyn started buying her books, and maybe it was the door one that was the first one, and that's where I saw it. And then she took Colleen's video. Karlyn just did a video, which I have not watched yet, and about one of her books, and she put it on her website, which I think is so amazing. So good on Karlyn. Because Colleen's been doing a lot of collage. Karlyn, Kathy, yeah, a lot of people have been doing a lot of collage. And of course, we all know Dee Dee is like the collage queen. Here's the two steps. But those colors, this color is just so yummy. And I don't know if it's enhanced or if that truly was the color of the water. Karlyn was the enabler, yeah. But look at these. Ah, the colors are just so amazing. And it makes me think of my mom because my mom was such a huge shell collector. A lot of my mom's shells ended up, there's a plaque at the aquarium in Tulsa because after Mom passed away, we donated a lot of her shell collection to the aquarium. So there's a plaque for my mom. She was the shell queen down at Padre Island. I should get that picture and show you guys. Hi, Dee Dee. So yeah, it's a beautiful book. It really is. And now I feel compelled that I need to figure out a way to do some collage with it. And I don't know who sawed these shells in half to get these images, but they're amazing. I didn't tell you guys a story. My mom died in 2001. And we were down at South Padre. Robert and I started going down there. I think it was 2002. And I was out walking on the beach and looking for shells, you know, and probably thinking about Mom because that's how she spent a great deal of her time. And people down on the beach are real friendly, right? And so this woman stopped and talked to me, and we were talking, and I said something about, yeah, my mom used to collect shells down here and was president of the shell club and blah, 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 you know, just talking like you do. And I looked down and I found this perfect baby's ear. And if I see one in here, I'll show it to you. And I said, oh, look, there's a baby's ear. And oh, anyway, she said, when I said Mom was president of the shell club for many years, and she said, what was her name? And I said, Helen Martin. And she said, you must be Janet. And I said, yeah. She said, your mom was one of my very best friends. And about that time, I looked down and I saw this perfect baby's ear. And I leaned over and I picked it up. And she said, your mom was one of the few people who could find those on this beach. Something like that. And it was just like, oh, it was almost like Mom was there with us, you know? So, and I suspect she was, you know, and I didn't think it was even random that this woman stopped me and talked to me because she just loved my mother. Everybody loved my mother. I love my mother. But anyway, look at these colors. So this is a very cool book. I love it. And thank you, Kenny. It came as a complete surprise. I had no idea it was coming. Look at this one. Look at the colors in this picture. And then I think, well, why would I even collage on that? It's so beautiful the way it is. Why would I want to change that? I couldn't make it better. I mean, at that point, I would just be wrecking it, right? So that's what I think when I look at stuff like this. It's just like, can I improve on that? I think not. Yeah, see, Julie, I think she was there too. I think my mom's with me a lot. She knows I still need her. All right. So today, Dee Dee, right now, how is the color? Let me put the colors up here. How does the color and the sound and everything look? Because when I get started, I'm not going to jack with that stuff. I had it set up pretty good when I started, but Dee Dee, if anybody is going to, can't make it better, just different. Well, that's true. Janet, get with it. You are approved. I am, Eileen. Y'all think I'm this rebel person. My voice is roboting. How do I change that, Dee Dee? Dee Dee, Dee Dee. Let me get this drawing out of the way because I'll trash it out for sure. Here and there. Well, that's weird. I'm using the mic on the camera. I might just have to buy a new camera. I should just part with the cash and do it, right? Might eliminate a lot of my problems, but I don't know that. Not to me, sound has been good. Okay. All right, well, unless somebody has suggestions for improvement, we're getting on down the road here. Okay, and today I'm working out of Watercolor, Making Your Mark. There's 55 step-by-step painting techniques in this book by Karlyn Holman, and I think I'm pronouncing that right, Karlyn. She has a very, very particular, unique style. I like her style. I don't necessarily want my style to be her style, but But I just like it. I mean, and everything I've done out of this book, I've been really, really happy with. So this is the one I'm going to work on today, and I've already drawn it out. So how many weeks ago did I draw this? 3 or 4 weeks easily. Thanks, Elaine. Hi, by the way. So I've flipped through this book before, and look at how many bookmarks I have in here. Like, there's so many projects I want to do. I will definitely get my money out of this book. This one I've painted a couple times anyway, and I'm going to paint it again. But I probably won't do it on stream unless you just want me to. But there's just beautiful things in here. And her work is, primarily watercolor. She does do some mixed media. She uses some stencils and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's 100% watercolor. And I like the idea of using, I want to do this one too. Oh, wait a minute. Is this the one I drew? No, I drew the yellow one. All right, because I want to do this one as well. Look at the colors in that. And actually, the color depiction today, at least on my screen, is pretty darn accurate. So, but look at the colors on that. So pretty. So I won't show the book again. I've shown it before. But this is the one I'm going to work on. So wish me luck, because this is a little bit, a little bit outside my comfort zone, but that's okay. We're going with it anyway. So let's start by creating our palette. And I'm going to use my, where'd the other one go? I already lost the paintbrush, and I haven't even done, oh, there it is. I put it in the tray. I was going to say, how could I lose a paintbrush when I haven't even touched them yet? These are my brand new Paul Rubin brushes. And they've never been used before. I just washed the sizing off this morning. I'm going to go ahead and use these today. They're really nice. I'm excited to use them and see how they compare to the black velvets. These are the black velvet, or the silver, black velvet brushes that I normally use, that I really like. So, and I am working on 100% cotton Arches paper. So let's pick out the colors that she told me to pick out. So she said, wet both sides of Arches 140-pound cold pressed paper. I'm only going to wet one side. She wants me to choose, let me get my other brush to choose the colors. Okay. I'm going to use Azo Yellow, and I'll use, these are Daniel Smith at the top, and these are M. Graham at the bottom. And to me, they behave almost the same. So I'm going to go ahead and use probably some of each, whichever, because I don't have the whole palette in either one. So yeah, I just use whatever. And I'm going to try and get enough paint that I don't have to go back a second time. Okay, so it's yellow, quinacridone gold, which I know I have. I just got to find it. This is my cheat sheet. Quinacridone gold is up here in Daniel Smith. And some people might spray their paints, but since I'm using just specific colors, I just wet them individually as I go. But the thing about M. Graham and Daniel Smith is they both re-wet so beautifully. Yeah, like you don't have to spray them ahead and let them set. Okay. Next one, quinacridone burnt orange. I don't have that. Quinacridone burnt orange. And I don't even know what paint she used. Wait a minute. I do have quinacridone burnt orange. Thank you, Cooey. It's right next to the Queen Gold. Check it out. Got it. So I'm not checking chat right now because I'm concentrating on color. And I will add more water or get back in the palette if I need to alter the colors. Quinacridone coral and manganese blue. Quinacridone coral. I do have quinacridone coral. And then depending on after I get into it, I'll decide if I want to add more colors. Because this quinacridone coral looks really light. Are you getting any of those bamboo brushes? Probably not, Eileen. I have so many brushes now. And none of them get the attention they deserve, frankly. Because I do so much other stuff all the time. But today, we are painting. All right. Now on this particular one, she's using Unruyu and Arugo papers on the wet surface. I'm not going to do that. And she uses sand and stuff like that. I'm not going to do that. And then the last color I need is manganese blue. And I know I have that, or at least I think I do. All right. Anybody know what no, there's manganese blue. I think I want a darker blue. Well, it turns out I'm going to end up using more Daniel Smith than M. Graham's. And I like them both equally. So it's not like one is better than the other, or I prefer one over the other. They're both very nice paints. But I'm going to look at her painting here in a minute. Because it looks like she's using a darker blue, but maybe not. I know I need more than that. They look nice, but they're so expensive. Yeah. And maybe someday when I can start selling paintings, Eileen, when you start buying my paintings, maybe I'll get myself some of those brushes. But they did look nice. I did see them the night she showed them. They looked awesome. But yeah, I've invested enough in brushes for a while. All right, that says for that first instruction, that's what she says. When the paper is complete, glue down the collage papers with thin yes paste, which we're not going to do. We're just going to paint it and get it as close as I can. How about that? I'm going to move the book for the time being and wet the paper. I like to wet the paper. Well, I actually have to wet it faster, I'm just going to use a bigger brush. How about this one? This is for when you want to wet it in a hurry. Oops. And arches, you don't have to worry about getting it oversaturated or anything. It's just like getting a t-shirt wet. It handles the water so nicely. And hopefully there'll be enough color that my sketch in the background is going to disappear. See how quick that went? Yeah, baby. And you can kind of tell I'm getting halfway good at telling when my paper is a good wetness. Like you can see how that gets shiny like that. That's a good, you need a big brush. Just like you need longer pencils, Dee Dee. You nut. She drug out that pencil this morning. It's like this big. Here, I'll do the eyes now. I can't hold the pencil, but I'm going to color these eyes in. Nutcase. All right, so and she says, just gently spray into the color, sanding your paper if dry when the paper is completely glue down the collage paper. So I'm not going to do that. Draw in a shape with a HB pencil around the iris, which I've already done. My square is already in there. Allowing some of the flowers to break out of the line, using the existing colors as a guide, painting a variation of. I'm going to do the background first, and we're going to do the flowers last. So let's see, we're going to use the bigger of the Paul Rubin brushes just to start getting some color down. I might want to do this kind of at an angle. Hopefully you guys will be able to see. And I'm just going to let it kind of run. She has some yellow in here. And anything in the flowers, I'm going to try and stay away from them as much as I can. But I'm just going to let this background play. And I might go back and add more later. Lots of cat hair in here. I don't charge extra for cat hair. Hi, Jan. All right, I'm going to have to probably take off my little jacket here. Robert probably came home and turned up the air conditioner. See, I like this because it's just plain. You know, like wherever the colors end up, it's all good. All right, what color was that? That's like that quin orange, isn't it? I'm going to want it out here. Oh, that's a pretty color. And I don't expect that mine's going to look just like hers. And this coral, I felt like it was really light. Let's see. checking my drawing to see where I want this stuff. And I'll go back in here and add some more darker after it kind of spreads, and just see how the colors start playing together. I do, Dee Dee, and I didn't take my medicine before I came on. Now, she didn't say anything about the green, which is really, really weird, but maybe that's coming up. Because her instructions are pretty freewheeling, like you pretty much get to decide. All right, and up in here she has like, oops, I'm going to go ahead and get this wet again so the colors will really, really play. But anyway, it's really quiet today. Like a lot of the city peeps decided it was time for them to go home, which makes me and Amy really, really happy, and Lane, her husband, too. Like it was time for them to go home. And this morning I haven't seen hardly anybody, which is good. And I didn't hear fireworks all night last night. So anyway, I hope you guys had a really fun 4th of July. Mine was no big deal. I stayed in the house for the most part and let the city people enjoy the lake and make as much noise and let their dogs crap wherever they want. Now I'm hoping this blue and this red up here make purple. That's the plan. But I don't even know how these two colors, if they make a pretty purple. Some blues and reds don't make a pretty purple. Yeah, that one's not bad. Okay, so can you see how it's just all... I want a darker blue is what I want. Just re-wetting the paper where it's starting to dry. Now I can start kind of more controlling where the color is going to end up going. And I don't care if it gets up into the flowers a little bit. And out in here, if I get like bloom marks, I'll be okay with that. Jeff, you're here. You guys, and I don't know how to pronounce your name. Geralda, Giralda. We play a game together. She's a teacher in Aruba, one of the funniest people, one of the funnest people ever. So thanks for coming, Jeff. I'm so glad you came. Make her feel welcome, you guys. Be nice to her. She doesn't know me that well. So be nice to her. Jeff, just don't pay any attention to Eileen. She will lead you astray every single time. I promise you. That just makes me happy that you came, Jeff. I call her Jeff. That's her screen name, and she calls me Mur. Now I'm going to start filling in with just some color here and there. Mur is such a fun person. So are you, Jeff. Not Elaine. Eileen is the bad witch. Did I say Elaine? I meant Eileen. I'm not sure what I said, but yeah, it's Eileen that you have to watch out for. She's the one that will lead you astray every time. I'm really liking how this is moving down in here. All right, and then down in here, I think I want some blue, because right now you can kind of see where the colors are. I think I'm going to put some blue down in here. This should have been red. Oh, because I didn't draw the other stem. Just wetting the paper again. Jeff and I kicked butt on our game this weekend. Both of us came in first in our competitions. We're badass. Badass. I'm going to let it lay flat for a minute so that will kind of stay where I put it. Yeah, I'm liking the softness too. Because I kind of want this as a background, and I am going to go back in and I might even end up using some acrylic paint, because one of the things she does that I like, and I'm not sure what stencil I'll use, but see where she's used something up in here to get a design. I'm not that proficient yet, so I might go back in either with some white gouache or maybe even some really watered down acrylic and get some of that, but it won't be till after. And as this starts drying, I'll add more so that I start getting some watermarks. What game do you play? I think it's, what's it called, Jeff? Crap. Oh, is it called Big Farm? I think that's it. Yeah. I actually played 2 games on the phone. And I haven't played this one very long. but I met Jeff there, and then we met in a co-op together. And we were deputies in the co-op, and the leader was just a wicked wench. It was almost like Eileen was in charge. No, not really. She was worse than Eileen. So we had to go off and find a home together, and we found a good one. And now we have really fun. All right, I'm kind of wondering if right now I should dry it a little bit, and I didn't get my heat gun plugged in, but I want to kind of keep those colors right where they're at. So I'm thinking it might be good, but I wouldn't mind the watermarks either. So I'm thinking maybe just leave it. Oh, it's hard being me. Do you play them, CB? Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Joan. Anybody I missed? I know I missed a lot of people. Did somebody ask the kick you to the curb, E.T.? The name of the book that I'm working in is Watercolor, Making Your Mark by Karlyn Holman. I know I bought it used off Amazon, and it's a hard cover, but I think you can get it soft cover as well. You don't play? All right, because I was going to say, come join us. We have fun in the evenings. I need some more blue. I'm kind of wanting a green blue, though. So let me look at my cheat sheet here. I think I'm going to add some of this phthalo green blue. I think I'd like a richer color in there. So, yeah, I think so. Phthalo green blue. And I'll mix it in with the blue. Don't need a huge amount. And then the manganese was which one? Okay. Oops, wrong glue. Just make it up as you go along, you guys. Pretty much what I do. That was just my phone. No worries. Just something minor like my phone. Okay, keep your fingers crossed that I don't goof this up, okay? And I'm going to move it out here where I want it. And it's going to have to dry a lot more. I'm going to put my big brush away, Dee Dee. I'm going to lay it flat. All right, I'm going to try and recapture my line right here. That's the nice thing about this Arches paper. Look how long it stayed wet so that I could go in here now and recapture that. That's awesome, and I love that about nice paper. Did you wake up, Eileen? Because she's saying, what else is new? Wake up. All right, so up here might still be a little bit too wet. All right, I'm going to do the reverse on this one up here before I lose my line completely. You know, another thing I could do, and I'm going to do it, I think, is I might get some gauze out. And make some marks in the paper that way too. Going to add some more red in here. And this background probably will end up taking several layers. It won't happen like all at once. Hope I'm staying on screen okay for you guys.
It's getting right hot out there.
I imagine it's over 80 in the shade right now. Robert Vaughn's saying it's hot outside. We are definitely in summer now.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Tambit. How are you? Hi, Dabbler. God, I missed a lot of you. Hi, Jilly. I think my line isn't very straight now, but that's okay. And this is dry enough now that I can come back and start adding more color. Hopefully I won't get watermarks, but if I do, that's fine too. I don't care. Okay, watch that move for just a minute. And I'm going to climb up. And hopefully I have some gauze up in the cupboard because I want to put gauze right in there right now. Hi, Kenneth. How are you? Warm Monday afternoon in Iowa. Yeah, it's warm. It's not just warm, it's damn hot in Oklahoma. Okay, this is just medical gauze, old medical gauze. That is no longer sterile. All right. Now that has to stay on there until it dries. But you kind of got to build it up. So that can stay right there. And I'm going to add a little bit of that quinacridone gold back in there because that's kind of the color that I want to live there for good against that soft background. And I probably won't get this done today because I'm slow as hell. Now I'm just adding a little bit of the color to the gauze. And with the wet paper underneath, it should make a really cool pattern. That's the plan. And I'm going to add some up here in this blue too. Just lay it down over there. I'm not sure that I'm in love with this manganese blue that she chose. I'm going to go with it, but I really am not a huge fan, honestly. But I like darker blues, so I'm going to go direct from the palette just to get some really nice dark, hopefully. It did end up making a pretty nice purple. I think I almost would have preferred, though, in all honesty, just going with a regular purple, just a pre-mixed purple, you know. But that's me. I like fast and easy. Just impress it down with clear water. And then I'll add some color back to it. But I'm going to use the darker, what did I say I was going to use? That phthalo green blue? Yeah, that's what I'm going to add back in there. And hopefully it'll work out like I think it will. And then I'll start here in a minute. I can always come back and work in the background later. Doesn't look like much yet, does it? Hi, Christine. Whoever, oh, G Brody's leaving. Okay, bye, G. Jersey's here. Hi, Jersey. Anybody else I missed? All right, let me look at the book. Let's see where we're at. All right. Allowing some of the flowers to break out a little. Using these existing colors as a guide, painting a variation of darker value color. Design some darks or midtones on the outside of the line and other darks or midtones. So that's about where I am right now. I will add more color later. When these colors are dry, see, and that's the problem with painting on stream, is you can't let things dry completely. But that's okay. We're going to go on anyway. I guess I could heat set it real quick. Looking for my plug. Okay, got it. The gauze and stuff will definitely work better if you let it dry organically. It really will. And I'm going to add some over in here too. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and add some gauze over in here just for balance. I don't want the one with the, I'm afraid that's watercolor and that would transfer, so I'm not going to use that piece. I'm going to do this one going off the page though. All right, I've been using the number 10 Paul Rubin round. Nice brush, you guys. It is a nice brush. It holds a lot of water. I think at this point, if I wanted to pick up color, I think it would do great at that. All right, so it was the Quin Coral that I was using. I'm going to get some real dark Quin Coral to go in here. Well, I'm going to have to add a little bit of water, I think. But I want to add some kind of dark right in here. Looks like a big old red bloody spot, right? I just want to richen this up in here a little bit, and I'll leave that out there kind of light, but I want this in here pretty rich. Not so much, though, that it's going to compete with the flowers, right? Hi, Colleen. Congratulations on getting your video over on Catherine Anderson's website. I think that's awesome. And considering you were the one that kind of enabled all of us, I think it's appropriate that your art got over there. All right, I'm going to stop real quick and do a check. I'm still kind of letting that dry organically, so I'm going to stop real quick because I didn't draw in all these leaves down here. I figured I'd just do that later. I drew some of them in, but I think I'm going to take a second and go ahead and draw some of them in. so I know where I want my lights and my darks when I move on to the greens. And that's kind of what you have to do. I mean, because my sketch was just my sketch. No, I'm really happy for you, Colleen. I think that's awesome. Okay, so here's my leaf coming out. I did draw that leaf. All right, there's that one. And you all may not be able to see this, but just trust me. All right, that'll give me an idea. Because then I want this to come down. And check it out, Eileen. I can't get through a stream without using a ruler, so I'm going to use this ruler right here and make it as straight as I can. So I kind of know where the edge of my painting is going to be. And quickly pick some of that up. You're right, Jilly. Colleen has worked really hard. So yeah, I like when anybody gets recognition, you know, for all the work they put in. And definitely using somebody's product because yeah, and you're helping them too. So kudos to you. I love this Arches paper. If you have any doubt about spending the money, treat yourself for your birthday or sometime and get yourself some Arches paper. You will not hate yourself, I promise you. You will not. Oh, maybe I didn't say out loud. But Colleen had shown on her stream several times. I mean, it wasn't just once or twice. She uses the Katherine Anderson books, collage books, and this woman is very generous. You buy her books and she lets you use her images in your personal art, and she has several different kinds. And the artist, Katherine Anderson, used Colleen's video on her website. So that is awesome. I like that a lot. All right, so this down here, I'm going to go ahead and do this down here because it's kind of the same light muted background. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get it all wet. And hopefully I'm not sorry for doing that, but that's what I'm going to do. Because right now I'm just stalling for time and letting all that work together real quick. And then this, there it is. I'm going to say, what did I do with my palette? I'm going to start introducing some light yellows and greens down in here. And then the flowers, with any luck, if my plan comes together like I'm hoping it will. Ooh, that needs some water. Yeah, the the flowers should actually kind of jump off of the page, that they're going to be far more prevalent than anything around it. That's my plan. And a lot of you come here from Dee Dee's, and you all know how amazing her collage is. So, and she's used some of Catherine Anderson's collage elements as well. So most of you are probably familiar with that actually from Dee Dee. Because Dee Dee is just the most amazing collage artist anywhere. But I admire anybody who can do it, because yeah, I'm a little chicken. All that stuff around makes me a nervous wreck. But now that Kenny sent me that book, I feel like, oh man, I'm going to have to give it a go, right? And the reason I didn't introduce the green earlier is because with the green and the red and all that, you're liable to end up with mud, which is not my plan here. And these greens that I chose, I can't tell you the colors of them because they were greens that were just left in my palette, and I thought, oh, rather than get out more green, I'm just gonna use what I've already got out. And that is, okay, I gotta check my drawing real quick because I just made that. I gotta pick that up. Yeah, that's the beauty of arches. You don't want it there? Pick it up. It's almost like it didn't exist. Okay, so this is the other one down in here. Okay. There isn't much down here, so. And if I obliterate my drawing, I have to make it up as I go along. Okay, and remember, when you're doing watercolor, it always dries lighter than what it appears. So, you know, you might be looking at this right now thinking, oh my gosh, those are pretty bold, bright colors, when in reality, they're not. When they're dry, when this paper dries, it will be much lighter than it appears right now. Okay, right here actually is about the softness. It might be a little darker up in there, but that's about the softness that you can expect. And I think that's hard. It was hard for me when I was learning. Well, and I'm still learning. Every time I pick up a paintbrush, honest to God, I am learning. But when you start painting, you have to always remember that your painting is going to end up much lighter than it appears. Okay, see right in there, I painted that over, and that's okay, but I don't necessarily want that hard edge in my leaf or in my petal. So I'm going to go ahead and try and pick a little bit of it up, because I want that petal to actually go out in there. And that's the whole idea, is that the painting, even though it's kind of got blocks in it, goes outside of that. And I should have caught that before, but I didn't. So this is, we're going to try and do a little erasure. And with arches and a magic eraser, I think I'm going to have pretty good luck. Because I shouldn't have painted that right there. Woohoo! Came out good. And if you didn't, this is just a magic eraser. I just cut it off of a big one and I use it as an eraser for watercolor. Okay. I'm going to hit it with the heat gun right now. And yep, so we can move on. And I'll start doing the flowers because we're almost an hour and a half in. And I want you to get an idea of what the flowers are going to be looking like. Needed some nourishment. Look at Jersey, you just got smarter for coming here. I do all that for free, just for you. One thing that happened down in here that I really like, I want to show you now because it probably won't last when I add more to it. But can you see down here where it's really granulated? I like that a lot. And when I go back and do another layer on this background, I may end up using some granulation fluid because I'm really liking that. You always learn a new tip at my stream. Aw, Jersey. If I was there, I'd just give you a big hug and a smooch on your cheek. All right, it's drying pretty good. For as much water as I had put on that, it's amazing that it would be dry by next week. You're a hugger, I'm a hugger too. And a smoocher. All right, let's see. When these colors dry, draw in more shapes of leaves and buds, paint a darker layer of negative colors, see exercises. I'm not going to go through all that. Start painting the positive shapes, which are the flowers now. And I will go back and work on the background more later, but for right now, I'm going to go ahead and get the flowers in. And now I think what she's trying to get you to look at is position the dark shapes next to the light shapes so that you really get that sense of depth, right? So, yeah. So I'm going to start with the, I'm going to check these greens and see if they're really the colors that I want, because I don't think this one is. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm loving that. I like that one. That one's good. We can use this one for sure. And then I think I'm going to get out that, it's called Undersea Green. And it's, when you look at it, you think, oh, that's not pretty at all. But it's a really nice color. It's a dark olive kind of color. I think I'm going to use it. Put it in this one. And the way I set up my palette is always kind of like a rainbow, lightest to darkest. For no particular reason other than it's the easiest way for me because I'm not that familiar with my colors. All right. I think I'd like one other color green. I'm going to clean this well out because I'm not crazy about that and I don't want to pick it up accidentally. So, but I do need a light yellow green. So I think I'm going to choose the M-Gram sap green. It's always a really, really good color. You know, greens in watercolor are kind of weird for me because none of them look like the colors that you actually see in nature. Like, when do you ever see Kelly green in nature? You really don't. Okay, and I'm going to add some more hookers. That I know is hookers. I'm pretty sure it's hookers. So add some more because I don't want to run out. Those are actually my two favorite greens. Hi, Candy. Welcome. I'm not sure. Maybe you've come here before, but if you haven't, welcome. The ladies will make you feel welcome, I'm sure. All right. Now I'm going to have to pay attention to my reference art because up in here I've lost some of the stems. So that's, I'm going to start doing the stems. That's good focus right there. But that's what we're going for. And I think it's dry enough that I can actually work on it. So I'm going to start with, I always start light to dark. Don't know why, just the way I do it. And I'm loving the Paul Rubin brushes. And they weren't terribly expensive, you guys. There's 4 in this set, and the box is still sitting here, so I'll show you. And I'm not getting anything from Paul Rubin. I'm just telling you, this is the first time I've actually used these on a painting. And so far, I'm really happy with them. But Paul Rubin's packaging is always so beautiful. They come in this nice box. And then there's 4 of them in here on a velvet lining. So they're really nice. And I think they averaged, I'm going to say, about $10 a brush. So for a very nice brush, that is a very reasonable price. Very, very reasonable. Okay, can you guys see okay? And I'll just let that sit there and work together. Painting with just water first. You want the Paul Rubin so bad? Well, Jersey, save up. You know, that's kind of how I felt about some of the things that I went ahead and let myself buy. I just saved up and thought, okay, and I didn't get my really good brushes until I felt like I was at a certain proficiency where I could really judge the difference too. But I will tell you that you will notice a difference. You really will. This one, I could have painted water first, but I kind of wanted to see, because I just mixed a little of the Quin Gold in here, and I wanted to see the color. I wanted it a little golder than that, actually. So I'm going to pick up some of that color. And I'll add a little bit of the cat hair, a little bit of that brown in there. And details, of course, will come last. So right now I just want the correct background color, kind of. Then some of these are just variations of green, so I'm not really going to pay attention to, I guess I'll put the darker ones that I want to give the illusion that they're further back. And it's not always wise to paint right up against something that's already wet, so I'm going to leave a little bit of space in there. You've been cleaning fountain pens? That's a good thing to be doing. Here's Eileen telling Jersey, you're a damn cheater. Way to go, Eileen. Way to make friends and influence people. Okay, here's another. I want a dark one back here. And I pretty much ignored the background back here. Okay, now this particular brush, after I've just bragged on him, I'm having a real hard time getting a really narrow point there. That, to me, may be a little bit of a problem. Not enough that I won't like the brush, but enough that next time if I want to point, I wouldn't probably pick this brush. She is, Janet. I am not. Oh my God. Now Jersey and Eileen are fighting in chat. I love when a good fight gets going. Okay. I'm going to let this down in here dry right now, and I'll start up here since this is dry. And I'm going to want, I think, I'll rinse this so I know I'm getting the right color. The light green. Kind of lost my sketch there a little bit. I don't know if I'll go back in with ink and make these edges sharper later either. I cheated once, gave my best friend in first grade the answers. We got caught. I never cheated again. I swear. I believe you, Jersey. Okay, I'll let that dry and then I'll go in and define that bud a little bit better. You know what? I'm not going to mess with that right now. I'm going to leave that one. Let that dry. Got quiet, paying attention right now. All right, so this actually, I'm going to add some of the darker here where the gauze is and just let that kind of disappear. Wasn't necessarily my plan, but that's the way it worked out, so I'm okay with it. Right? Last time in the confession booth. Oh my God, poor Jersey. Eileen's giving her like the 5th degree. All right, and then there's a little bud up here. So I'm going to need some more Quin Gold, I think, but we're going to go ahead and paint it in and just see. All right. See, now this is when the painting to me starts becoming really fun. Like that first background part, it's just like you have to do it. But now this is when you can start seeing things getting defined that I just start going, oh, now this is fun. This is way fun. I like it. Robert's grazing. That needs to be a little bit darker. So let me go in and get some. I've got it watered down too much. Oops. It might have been a little bit too thick. Okay. This one is not quite that dark, but that's okay. Liking that. Okay, now here, where I painted red here, this actually should have been green. I'm not going to try and erase it, or I'm just going to paint over it with green. And honestly, this is one of those places where you just hope for the best. So I'm using a dark, thick enough paint that hopefully I can obliterate it. Yep, it's not going to affect anything. I'm good. I'm good. And I will pick up some of this color here in just a minute. All right, so that's coming out. Now, when I come in here with the yellow leaves later, I'm going to have to be really careful up against this green, but that's okay. Yep, got rid of that pretty easy. Now, another painter might do that different. But to me, that's the easiest way to go in there, paint in, then pick it back up where I want it to show a lighter color. Because I can always go back in there with darker, but right now is the time that I've got to get that light in there if I want it. And I could have painted it in first and then gone in with the darker later. That's just the way I decided I enjoy doing it. But yeah, somebody else might do it differently. And I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a right or a wrong. I don't know the rules, so I just break them all the time. And that's okay. I'm going to use the smaller brush, I think, for a minute and see the tip on it, see if I like it. Because one thing about the Black velvet ones, like, look at that point. Like, you cannot, in fact, I'm just going to paint with it. You just can't beat the black velvet points when you want to get in a tight spot. So, yeah, there's that. All right, so this one's coming down like this. I know I'm just going to go, oh, I like this so much better. Maybe you just like what you learn with. I don't know. Yeah. Here's my free advice. Do the black velvet. That point is just so perfect. All right. Now these are really light. Get some more Queen Gold out here. Yeah, I'm going to do a Queen, maybe some of this. I'm just mixing up my own color here real quick. And some, where was the Queen Gold? Okay, second one in. See, I can't remember squat. That's why I need a cheat sheet. I'm going to introduce some of the Queen Gold from over here over into here now. And I guess I'm learning that as I go, that it's good to introduce the same color multiple places throughout the painting. I think it just ends up more pleasing to the eye. Or I'm just making this crap up as I go along. I'm not sure which. Kathy, I'm doing one of the paintings out of Watercolor, Making Your Mark by Karlyn Holman. She's got like 55 step-by-step painting techniques, and you do learn a lot of techniques, but I like her style. I like where she's got like this box inside box and all this. Mine's not going to look like hers, but it's kind of the general idea that I like. So I used her drawing, and I'm kind of trying to do my own thing with it. I did hear that, Eileen, that Charlie Daniels passed away. That's incredibly sad. But I love her sketches. I love her style. There's just really not much about what she's done that I really dislike. So, yep, I go to this book quite a bit, either just for a sketch or um, a technique. I just like her technique. Oh, I want to test this color before I put it against that green. I want it a little bit lighter. Yeah, I like that. Okay. And I don't even know where I saw this book. If I just bought it maybe sight unseen, or if I saw it at Kathy Arbor's. A lot of the books I have because of Kathy Arbor. And then some I think I just randomly picked up because I liked them. Okay. Let me go ahead and start painting some things off the page. I think that's one of the techniques that most artists use that I like a lot. Is when you make things, go off the page. Because I introduced this color over here, I'm going to go ahead and reintroduce it back over here. And Lena, if you're lurking, hi. I have to write you back here tonight, but I know you're probably lurking because you are a lurker girl. All right, and another thing she's done in this kind of brownish, greenish kind of color, she actually introduced some little bit of red. So I think I'm going to do that right now. And the reason I just out of the blue said something to Lena is because I rarely watercolor that I don't think of Lena and think, well, what would Lena do? Because I love her style so much. So that's why out of the blue, I just talked to Lena. What would Lena do? Or maybe I learned something from Lena. And when I repeat it, I think of her. Okay, just looking. That one's really dark over there. And I need to introduce some dark over there because I have so much dark up in here. All right, and then this big stalk going up is kind of a medium green, actually. Just thinking out loud here what I want to do next. I'm going to get some more of the Hooker's green. I turned it upside down to try and keep my hands out of anything that's still wet. I'm terrible about that. I know if you collage that, you would have it had it done an hour ago. Well, I probably would have, Eileen, but I wouldn't have gotten to play with all my cool stuff and mix colors. And I almost started at the wrong place because of you, Eileen. Hashtag it is all Eileen's fault. It doesn't matter what it is, it's Eileen's fault. But I wouldn't have been able to play with all my cool stuff. And that's part of the thing, right? One thing I know for sure, I need more space. Either mine or the cat hair. I'm going to peel that back. And even though it's, well, that's a little damp in there, I'm going to have to come back and finish that because that's too damp for me to put paint on right there. But I think that gauze is going to look good. So, but when that dries enough, I'll just go ahead and extend that out off the page. And remember, this is all going to dry a little bit lighter than it looks right now. So if you think, oh my gosh, that's so dark, it's not. It won't be. I'm going to have a ton of stuff to pick up off the floor when I'm done. Yeah, I need more room here. I'm just picking up a little bit of paint down the center. So it will give it a little bit of depth. And then when it's completely dry and I can come back in again, I'll darken the edges. So it will look like there's some roundness to it, right? This leaf is not quite dry yet. So I'm going to introduce some different color to it. Now imagine when it gets fussy like this, you guys are just going, oh my God. Okay. Hi, Carol Hoover. Whippy Carol. Hi, Carol. It's good to see you. All right. Down in here, I'm going to do a real yellowy green. Now I'm just making up my colors as I want them. Because down in here, there's really nothing that is well defined. So it just looks like a bunch of whatever. So what I'm just trying to do now is introduce different colors. Where it won't grab your eye at all. Nothing will grab your eye. Kind of like fill in. Okay. Quiet. Now, this up here is actually a bud that has one leaf kind of unfurled. So I'm going to leave that because at this point I've got to start introducing some yellow and orange. And I think I'm going to let this dry before I do that. And the reason primarily for that is it's right in the center of the page. I don't want to goof it up. You told Jean that we missed her and she should come back. Well, she really should. She should miss us. But I know she's been like knitting like a maniac. She made really, really cute clothes for her little great niece's dolls. So, I mean, she's enjoying herself, I'm sure. That's the thing about Jean. I'll bet Jean is doing exactly what Jean wants to be doing, if I had to guess. Yep, she's doing knitting. And she obviously enjoys it. So, I mean, I would hate her to come back and stream for us if she's not doing something that she really wants to be doing. So, I mean, I just feel like if Jean is enjoying her knitting, go for it, Jean. Even though, you know, I do miss her and I wish she'd come back, but yeah, I don't blame her for doing what she kind of wants to be doing. Okay, I'm liking that one. I'm liking this. She could stream knitting. A lot of people do. I know Whippy. Um, she crochets and not knits. Yeah, I thought she knitted. I'm knowing Jean, she does both. Okay, and I can't do any more up around here until that dries because I'm loving that one right there. That is making me happy. And while I've got these colors out here right now, that blob of red that I moved there somehow, that will go away here in a minute. Okay, I think she does both. The Mona Lisa blanket she made for Dee Dee was knitted. Yeah, I think she does both. The blanket was gorgeous. The weird thing about that blanket, if any of you haven't seen it, maybe Dee Dee will show it again sometime. Um, it's like an optical illusion thing that she's got going on, and it's amazing. All right, let's see what we got going here now. That one's still too wet. That one I'm going to smooth out with a little bit of a medium color. That was the one that I goofed up, and you can kind of see behind it, so I might have to baby that for a little bit. Just looking. All right, I'm going to hit it with a heat gun real quick and think about what I want to work on next. Because I'm getting the skeleton done pretty darn good. I'm pretty happy with it. I still got to get some green in here, but so far I'm liking this. Not sure about that one. Okay, I'll do this one down here first. Same kind of color, so. That might be a little bit too much red. But if it's like this one, it mellows out really nice where you can't really, it just blends in so nice that it turns a little bit red. But yeah, I think it'll be okay. Ah, these colors, they're just so rich and so nice. I just love them. I love them. All right, checking what we got going on here. This got to be real dark green back in here. Got really quiet, I know. Coming along. Look at Sophia. Trying to make sure I don't put my hand in the wet paint because I'm famous for that. Yeah, when you want a nice tip, go with the brushes. Now that's one thing I'm going to say about the Paul Rubens that I'm a little disappointed. This one, you cannot make a real nice point. So I'm a little distressed about that. So lucky I have this to fall back on. All right, should I go ahead? I think I will do this section right in here. I'm going to paint it with a base of this just kind of like tan color and then introduce some greens so it just like variegates itself. That's where I'm going to try it because I'm not really sure the best approach, so I'm just going to try that one. So it's just going to look like a big blob for right now, and then I will go ahead and define all the different petals and the edges. Next. And I want it to stay kind of wet while I do this. This petal I don't want any green on, so I'm going to try and keep the green away from over there. I don't mind if the yellow moves into there. That one I'm going to leave a little bit. More bland. I need a new rag. I think Jean wants to stream knitting because she has so close to the eyes to see. Oh, that's true, Dee Dee. I hadn't thought about that. Because I'm sure most of you know Jean is actually legally blind. So yeah. And even when she was streaming watercolor painting, she had to get up pretty close. Ooh, that's too red. Too red, girl. And this is the part of watercolor that I like the best, when it just starts, it can just start. Hopefully that'll focus for you guys, where it just kind of moves itself, and I can go back in and define really nicely later. That's the best part of this whole process. Eileen will tell you there is no best part of the whole process, but I'm here to tell you that there is. And I'll go back in and define this petal here later because it's got a lot of red on it. And that's why I wanted to introduce that little bit of red other places. And then this, I'm not sure what part of the flower it is, but it does have okay, I'm going to let that dry for a minute. I think I'm liking the colors. I don't want to reintroduce any more green. I'm going to introduce some more green in there, but it's too wet right now to really do that. So I'm just going to let that dry and come back in later. So let me go ahead. I think it's dry enough. We'll see. If it's not, live and learn, girl. Now I'm just painting that out with water, and I'll come back in and do all the petals later. But I just wanted that to fade out to nothing. Now I'm going to get the whole flower wet and then let it dry, and then I won't end up with watermarks later. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just don't want the watermarks. Not on the flowers. Out here, I didn't care. In here, I do care. But I'm not ready to go in with all that yellow yet, because when I do that, I'm going to go ahead and do all the flowers at once. Right now, I'm just trying to finish these greens. All right, let's go over. I want some more dark green on this edge. Sorry if I got off screen there for a minute. Sometimes I get it close so I can see, and I forget that you guys are watching. Okay, cool. Just checking to see what colors, if I've got enough. I want some more green down in here, so I'm going to use some of this medium green. And a lot of this I'll define at the very, very end with the tiniest little brush. All right, that is a yellow leaf there. That one's pretty well defined there. That's the other leaf. All right, I'm going to get, I need that. Choose a brown. And I'll go ahead and define that one leaf so you can kind of see how they're all going to end up. I think I'm going to use probably burnt umber for that. All right, I'm going to try this very smallest little Paul Rubin brush for this. See, and it may not be fine enough. I might have to get a finer one still, but this one's pretty fine. So let's see what kind of detail work we can do with it. When did I start painting? I don't know, Dee Dee, when did I start painting? A year or so ago? I'm going to say a year or so. I haven't been painting that long. I didn't know when I started if I would even enjoy it, honestly. And I'm not even sure what got me started other than I liked having all the paints and junk. But I learned a lot. I mean, just doing it dictates that at some point you learn a lot. And I think when I started, I watched a lot of video. I watched a lot of different painters, and I think I just didn't know what I didn't know, so you just jump in and you do it, and somehow it kind of works out. And I think that's kind of how it happened with me is I just didn't know what I didn't know, so I just tried it and did it. I'm going to add some little bit of brown to this. And I've still got a ton to learn. I mean, like, I think you could do this for years and still learn something. I want those to spread out. Ah, Tracy, thank you. I'm learning. I think Dee Dee's theory about if you want to learn to do something, you just got to sit down on your butt and do it. Really. And I'm a believer that there's absolutely nothing that you can't learn. I believe you can learn to draw. You just got to do it. And then get yourself the tools to help you. I mean, it's not going to come through osmosis. You have to sit down and do it and buy yourself the tools to make it realistic for it's something you can do. But I'm a firm believer that you can learn to do pretty much anything you want to learn. Your only limitation is yourself. And believe me, I got a long way to go. Yeah, I've got a long, long way to go. But how am I going to learn if I just don't do it, right? You got to just do it. All right, for you guys, I'm trying to see if I've gotten all the green. I'm going to add more green down in here, but I'm going to make sure that's real dry because I want the green to come up to about here, that whole green background. And then have it start lightening up. So yeah, I'm thinking, okay, there's another stem in here that I got to get in. Because doing the green down in here is going to be real tedious. But I'm trying to show you each I guess area of the process. If I was sitting here working alone, I probably would have done this a whole lot different. Well, in fact, I know I probably would have done the yellow first and then painted the green around it. But since the book did it this way, I decided to go ahead and do it the way the book did it. But if I was doing it by myself, yeah, this would be a whole lot different. Actually, this comes down. I couldn't paint it, I guess, because that gauze was there, but now it's got to come down to there. There we go. Hey, Jan. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming. Hey, Kenny. I showed you your book earlier that you sent me. Thank you. You're going to force me into collaging, aren't you? I think that's your nasty, evil plan. Can you see? I'm going to pull out real quick because I got about 20 minutes left is all. So, and I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and finish it on screen or not. What color do I have on here? But yeah, you can kind of get an idea now of where this is going. I'm so far really happy with it. I think I'd like some more gauze, or I might do some stenciling, or who knows what I might add in the background. But I'm liking the background. It's kind of what I wanted, because when you're doing something like this, you know, you can't really envision, but you can kind of hope for something. And so I'd say the background right now is kind of what I'd hoped for. I'll define it better as well. But so far, I'm really cool with this. Really, really cool. Because right now, I'm at the point where I have to, other than the green down here, and it's dry, other than the green down here, pretty much what I've got left is all the yellow flowers. And if you guys want, I will wait and do those all at once. Or I'll just go ahead and finish it and post the entire painting. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I've got another painting drawn out that I want to work on this week as well. Just looking what I got going on here. If I'm seeing this correctly, or if I just screwed up, I did not. Because yeah, now I've pretty much got all the darks in. And other than some green down in here, I'm really ready to move on to the yellow, which will make it really start popping and looking pretty. Sometimes if a place looks just too flat, I'll go ahead and introduce another color and it'll make it look less flat. So, and I'm going to go ahead and add some yellow in here as well. I will add yellow a lot of different places as I go ahead and add the flowers. I think there'll come a point where it'll just feel like, oh, I need more yellow there, or to make it all look more unifying or something. Now I'm excited to get this done, because I can kind of envision how pretty it's going to be. Thanks, CB. I like it too. Okay, Tracy's saying seeing you paint the flowers would be nice. Okay, I think I'll do a part 2 next week then. And go ahead. I might go ahead this evening while I've got these colors out and mixed and everything. I might go ahead and go in and do some of the detail that's left to do. You know, like getting shadows on some of the edges and stuff like that. But otherwise, I'll go ahead and plan on finishing this on stream so you can kind of see where it goes from here. It is really soft and nice. Okay, Brenda's saying yes on part 2. Okay, then we're going to do a part 2 on this and let you guys see the whole thing beginning to end. But it's starting to, I think, get some really good definition. I'm really liking it so far. And then if I'm going to add any paint or anything like that in the background, I'll go ahead and do that next time too. But all we got left to do next time, I think the worst of it's already done. So I might end up planning 2 things for next week. Let's look at mine compared to the book and see. Let's give myself a grade and see if I'm a failure or if I'm average. Okay, here's her painting. And there's mine, where we're at so far. So you can kind of see where I'm at and what I have left to do. And I think what's really going to make it pop is when we get all these really deep goldish kind of flowers and then the detail on the leaves. I may not do the detail much like hers. I'm not necessarily crazy about that completely. I'll do some of that, but yeah, I think it's come along. I'm really happy. Oh, thanks, Elaine. Oh, thanks, Carol Whippy. Oh, Dee Dee. The top left corner. Oh, this up here. Yeah, I like that. I wish it was just a little bit deeper blues, but thanks, Kenny. I can go back in and add is the thing. And I can go ahead and finish this now that I took that gauze off. So certain things aren't going to be exact, but that's okay with me. I'm good with that. Yeah, I'm so far so good. And then along the edges of the line, and I can't tell even in the photograph, you guys, it appears as though she's taken a fine line, and maybe it's her pencil marks, because you can see her pencil marks much better than you can see mine. I try and make mine disappear. So I might take a real fine line gray pen, which I fortunately have, and go ahead and define some of the spaces really well. But so far, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. And I'm not going to do this much, because I think the bottom of this one, tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the bottom of this one with all this dark green down here is heavy. And I don't necessarily want mine to be that heavy on the bottom. So I probably will add lighter greens is kind of my thinking. I don't know. We'll see. It kind of just happens as it happens, you guys. That's the truth. It just happens as it happens. Ah, thank you, Joan. I sure appreciate all you guys coming and watching me paint. I can't imagine that 40 people would honestly sit and do this, but I appreciate you a ton. And I don't know who streams anymore, because I've just kind of gotten out of so much of it. I might come back and try and do an impromptu. Yeah, I might do an impromptu to get this finished. Other than that, I'll do it next Monday. But yeah, you have a great week too. I plan on it. It's going to be hot, really hot and dry here in Oklahoma, from what I understand. So I won't be doing anything but staying inside, I promise you. Hey, Roman, glad you came by. I'm sorry I missed you coming in. But I appreciate you guys so much. And I'm about ready to call it a day for streaming. And next week we'll get to watch it next week or whenever I stream again, whether it's impromptu or whatever, we'll go ahead and get to see this finished. How about that? And if you need any more instruction on rulers, Eileen, you know where to come. Thank you, Jan. You were working in the background. Yeah, see, that's what I hope everybody kind of does that. Works in the background, just goes ahead and does something fun for themselves. Iris Rock, yes, I do, Lady Jan, one of my very favorites. I wish they lasted longer in real life. So be kind to one another, whatever you do. I love you all very much, and I appreciate all your support. So, yeah, I'll see you again really soon. Thanks, Tracy. Adios, amigos. Bye, Kenny. Thank you again.